Wayde van Niekerk, 23 years old, South Africa, a man who had never touched a major individual global medal. For 33 years, nobody on Earth matched what Michael Johnson did in a single relay leg. Until now. Wayde was born February 25, 2003. Growing up in Johannesburg, he watched track and field from a nation that didn't always expect to produce world-class sprinters. His coaches were patient, building his speed slowly. 46.76 at 15 years old, 46.26 at 16, 45.53 at 18. Steady, controlled, no shortcuts. One man changed everything Wayde van Niekerk thought was possible. Wayde van Niekerk, the South African who shattered the 400-meter world record at the Rio Olympics in 2016, showed a generation of young South Africans that greatness was not only possible from home, it was coming. Wayde has said it himself, quote, "To a large part, I am here because of Wayde," end quote. We used to think track was built for Americans or Europeans, then we saw someone do it in our own backyard. That spark sent Wayde van Niekerk into a decade of intense work. His mother, Beverly, had been a high school sprinter. By 19, Wayde had won the World Under-20 title in Cali, Colombia, in 2022, becoming the best young quarter-miler on the planet. He became part of a new wave of South African sprinters who were pushing each other to heights none of them had reached before. But there was a persistent frustration in solo events. At the Paris 2024 Olympics, Wayde crashed out in the 400-meter semifinals. At the 2025 World Championships, the same result. Semifinals. Done. He looked like a future champion, but couldn't crack the finals under the bright lights. His personal best sat at 44.31 seconds, a world-class time, yet he remained one agonizing step away from an individual global medal. He clocked 44.32 in March 2026 at the championships in Johannesburg, which was the world lead at that point. The speed was there. Something big was waiting to explode. To grasp what happened on May 3, 2026, you have to understand how old that record was. August 22, 1993. Stuttgart, Germany, the World Championships. The United States had built one of the greatest relay squads ever assembled. Andrew Valmon, Quincy Watts, Butch Reynolds, and Michael Johnson on the anchor. He snatched the baton and clocked 42.94 seconds, the final leg of a relay that set a world record that remains untouched today. Think about what that number actually means. The world record in the individual 400 meters, from a standing start with fresh legs, is 43.03. Johnson's relay leg, with a running start, was faster. Not just by a bit, but by nearly 1/10 of a second. Nobody had come close in 33 years. The consensus was simple, 42.94. Michael Johnson in Stuttgart. Touch it if you can. Nobody could. Not for 3 decades. Not at the Olympics. Not at the Worlds. Nowhere. That number just sat there, year after year, daring anyone to try. Then, the sport started to change. New spikes arrived, track surfaces improved, sprinting times across the board started to tumble. And yet, through every Olympic cycle, every World Championship, and every major relay in between, that 42.94 sat exactly where Johnson left it. Untouched. Bulletproof. 33 years. The 2026 World Relays arrived in Gaborone, Botswana, marking the first time the event hit African soil. The setting carried weight. This was a nation that had pushed the United States to the absolute brink in the relay during the Paris Olympics, taking silver by a mere 1/10 of a second in one of the finest relay performances Africa had ever seen. The national stadium in Gaborone was absolutely packed. The crowd came to see Botswana run for their people for the first time at a world relay. Interestingly, the United States didn't make the final. That decision left Botswana, South Africa, and Australia to fight for the podium in what became one of the fastest relay races in history. The fans had no idea what was about to happen. Botswana's lineup featured 2 of the most decorated 400-meter runners on the planet. Letšeng Tebogo, the Olympic gold medalist, and Colin Kebonetshipi, the reigning world champion in the 400. Their squad, Scotch, Tobogo, Newdori, and Kebanachipi was built for speed on home soil, and they delivered. South Africa's team was anchored around Wayde van Niekerk. He was assigned the second leg. When Wayde took the baton, South Africa was right in the mix. The stadium was deafening. The clock was ticking. What followed next was something the sport had not seen in 33 years. Wayde flew. His 42.66 seconds was not just fast. It was the fastest relay leg ever recorded in history. He crushed Michael Johnson's legendary 42.94, faster than any 400-meter relay leg since the very dawn of the sport. The difference is 0.28 seconds. In this race, that is an absolute eternity. South Africa finished in 2 minutes and 55.07 seconds, the fifth fastest 4x400-meter relay ever, earning them silver. Australia took third in 2 minutes 55.20 seconds, the sixth fastest time in history. Botswana grabbed gold in 2 minutes 54.47 seconds, the third fastest mark ever recorded, trailing only the legendary United States times from 1993 and 2024. This podium literally rewrote track history. But the number that shocked the track world was Wayde van Niekerk's 42.66. South Africa took silver. They missed the gold. But during that second leg, a 23-year-old from Johannesburg did something unseen in over 30 years. He outran Michael Johnson's ghost. That massive relay split won't erase the pain of falling short in the individual semifinals. It doesn't change the reality. He still hasn't stood on a major solo podium for the 400-meter final lately. But it proves one vital thing. The raw speed he needs? It is still there. Any runner clocking 42.66 with a baton can beat any man alive over a single lap. A split that insane, under intense pressure, on the world's biggest stage? That is no fluke. It is a clear look at what Wayde van Niekerk can truly achieve when everything finally clicks. The question isn't whether he has the talent. It is what happens when he puts it all together in his solo races. That South African sprint revolution Niekerk sparked a decade ago, it is still churning out world-class results today. Wayde himself calls it a ripple effect. That one major breakthrough that has led South Africa to a place where many runners now clock world-class times regularly. This environment made the moment possible. He has already said, "I know that I can do more." He is absolutely determined to prove his point in 2026. On May 3rd in Gaborone, he showed the world. Now, the World Athletics Ultimate Championship in Budapest looms in September 2026. Wayde van Niekerk isn't just a relay guy anymore. He's the legend who clocked 42.66 seconds. Every rival now knows exactly what his legs can deliver. Michael Johnson's legendary split record lasted for 33 years. It survived every generation. Then a kid from Johannesburg grabbed a baton and buried it. That is the new standard. His biggest stages are still coming.